Hello and welcome to Sin and Steel. I'm your host Sarah-Tonin and I am here at PBS Studios in Melbourne with host of the extreme metal radio show Burning Bitumen, Kene. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for having me
here.
Yeah, well, you've been here a few times, so
yeah.
you know it. It's good.
Yeah. So look, you have been running Burning Bitumen for a whopping 25 years now.
Yep.
Or 25 years of evil.
Yeah, 25 years of evil, yeah.
So we are here obviously to chat about your celebration show that you've got coming up for that, which is on the 9th of May at the Burgie Band Room, but we'll get into all the details of that later on because this is a really cool opportunity for us to kind of dig into some of your history.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's hope I remember.
Take us back that 25 or 25 plus years. What sparked the interest in radio and in heavy music for you?
Oh, they're two different questions, I suppose. Heavy music, when I was in my mid-teens, I was away on a school camp. I'd always kind of liked heavier songs on the radio, but, you know, didn't know a thing, but I was away in a school camp with some friends and they were getting annoyed with me and they said, here, have my Walkman and listen to this to keep you quiet.
Yeah.
And I put it on and went, whoa. And it was Black Sabbath.
Nice.
And I went, this is really cool. I've never heard this. And then, I mean, I'd liked AC/DC and stuff like that, sort of heavy rock stuff. But it's like, then I knew there was something going on. And a couple of years later, me and my friends went to AC/DC at Rod Laver and it was and I'd started working by then, so still pretty young. And I just had the money to buy the music, which helped in those days. It wasn't like now where you can just, listen to whatever you want. You've got to buy it.
Yeah, so you don't have free access to pretty much anything and everything.
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of music on my Walkman and just bought whatever was in whatever heavy metal magazine I was reading at the time.
Yeah, nice. For the kids, because I had one. What is a magazine? I was going to say a Walkman.
Magazine is a soft kind of thing. A Walkman is a portable music device that plays cassette tapes.
Yeah.
It is a trademark from Sony, so it's not the real name, but that's what.
And then they went from cassettes to CDs. Then we went to MP3 players, and iPod became the big thing. And now it just doesn't matter. You got it on your phone.
Yeah, it's all on your phone. And
nice.
Yeah, but then radio, I started listening to at work because, the work trucks were older and, only had radios in them, and I'd listen to a lot of community radio.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of shows that I'd started to like. And then in sort of late 2000, I was at a party with a mate of mine who was on PBS at the time.
Yeah.
And I talked to him for about 40 minutes about the AC/DC album Power Rage. And he says, maybe you should come and do a show at PBS. And
awesome.
Put in a demo. And then I did. And he, at the time, was doing a late night show, so I would come in the other studio, which is in St Kilda at the time. Mm. And I recorded a demo and put it in, they put me on the air.
Nice.
But to be honest, at the time, the show wasn't as metal as it is today. It was a lot more rock. But probably at the time, there was a lot of metal shows on PBS, which there aren't as much anymore.
Yeah, okay.
And I probably wouldn't have got on, but over time, it evolved. It got really, really heavy about 1 or 2 years later when I played some death metal and someone rang in and complained that that's not Burning Bitumen, and I changed the show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you started out, did it start as Burning Bitumen from the beginning?
Yes, it's been Burning Bitumen. A friend of mine, I was talking to him before I put in the application, and I said, I'm thinking about calling it Asphalt Rising, which is a track from Fu Manchu.
Okay.
And he goes, oh, that sounds too American.
Yep.
And so I went, what about Burning Bitumen? And he goes, yeah, that's
Burning Bitumen works really well anyway. It just makes me think of all the heavy metal songs that are like about driving really fast. It's Judas Priest heading out on the highway. It's that sort of stuff.
Well, the original idea was it was like a road trip kind of driving song show. And I like to think of it involved into like going from like a road trip kind of cruisy driving show to a like foot to the floor, flat chat, getting tickets.
Yeah,
kind of
nice.
Yeah.
So I guess on that, how has not only the show Burning Bitumen, but you as a presenter, changed and evolved from when you started out to now?
So much. To be honest, like my first international interview, I totally messed it up, and it really made me, and I got a lot of stick from other announcers, and it made me really work on interview technique, which is still not better, but even things like, you know, over time I've improved my announcing skills, my editing skills. You know, some people may argue with that, but it's, you know, that gets better all the time. The technology now is a lot easier to use, so that makes it, you know, handy. And also now we do a lot more interviews on Zoom rather than the ones on the phone where they're in a, you know, an analog format with a lot harder to edit. You could do it, but it was a lot more difficult. Zoom nowadays, you know, record it on Zoom, chuck it in Audacity, and you edit it and it's done.
And Zoom's great. Zoom does some auto leveling on its own. That's one of the reasons I use Zoom rather than others. It's quite handy. That was a tip I was given early on when I first did like my very first interviews. Someone said, don't use Teams or any of the other shit. Just go to Zoom. It does some auto leveling. It makes it a little bit easier to manage.
Yeah, and I fucking hate Teams. It's like shit. So yeah, I use Zoom a lot. Occasionally someone will say, I want to use some other thing, so I do that. And very, very occasionally now, since sort of lockdowns, you get an old dude who only wants to talk on the phone, which is ridiculous, because it's basically the same thing, but just, you know, it's a lot slower format because it's the same. It's
I mean, you've had me on the phone before, but live on the phone.
You could do, we do live phoners. You know, they kind of work. I feel I like to push like local bands, especially up and coming bands, to come into the studio because you do get a better vibe.
It's a way better vibe.
More friendly, people kind of chill, and you know, I'm not trying to break people down or whatever. I just want to get you know, some nice, you know, answers and help the bands. I don't care, you know, to like dig into their backstory or the skeletons or whatever. I'm not about that.
You don't need the drama.
No.
It's a whole thing within that space.
Yeah, because it, you know, most of the times, and you learn it too with the bigger international ones. If you ask the wrong question, they'll shut right up, or some of them will actually leave. So you sort of learn not to do that. We're like, well, why didn't you ask them that? And, like, because I don't care. Like, I'm only really interested in what's happening now with most musicians, even if they're.
And you're working within a limited time frame as well. You've got to keep it condensed. It's you don't need to waste time on stuff that's not really necessary. You know, you're not trying to go for those like clickbaity headline bullshit.
Also, I really want to hear what they want to say, because most of the time, if a band is going to chat to you, they've got something that they want to talk about. And that's tends to be the more interesting thing. What's fun to them. Sometimes. So with, in terms of changes and everything else, you've recently changed your time slots. Has anything else come with the change to your show since then? Well, kind of interestingly, at PBS, probably the first time since I've done the show in 25 years, I'm the only current sort of pure metal show on PBS, because we have like Tyrannochorus, who it's a great show, but he does a lot of metalcore and deathcore, which is metal, but it's metal adjacent as far as I'm concerned. You know, there's a lot of good music in it, but it's more that sort of pure side of things. So we're working on that at Peebs, but you know, that's kind of interesting. So it gives me a little bit more room to play, and you know, I've been able to drop a couple of heavy metal tracks in there that I probably wouldn't have. But apart from that, it's a very strong night Thursdays. So it's, once you know people remember where I am, it should be, you know, quite good, because you've got a good run of shows.
Nice. Now look, I'd love to dive in a little bit to some of your most memorable moments, and maybe a little bit about what the show means to you. So my first question here would just be, what does it mean to you to work with a community radio station and contribute to what they do here at PBS?
Well, it means it's you're part of a family. This is my family, really, as much as anything. I've been involved in a long time, and I'm also involved in a high level other than just the show. So I run the hard and heavy category, which is the heavy shows. So I look after them. I represent the heavy shows on the PPG, which is what decides what goes on and off the grid. So we, choose shows, and I push to get shows on and off. But also I kind of, at the same time, act as almost like a cross between a union rep and like keeping an eye on shows if they're not doing well, or they're, doing, not representing PBS well.
Yeah.
But it is, it is important, and still, interestingly, for free-to-air radio, but also on digital and on demand.
Yeah.
It's still really, there's a lot of people applying for slots. Like if we advertise a position, there's a lot of people that go for it. The recent slot that follows me that just come up, we had a lot of applications, and we can't talk about who got it, but I'm very happy with that.
So watch the PBS space to find out more.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's so much that goes on in the background that I don't think people are aware of, or it's not immediately evident unless they're in it. So it's really cool to be a part of all of those things.
Yeah, it is. And like being part of that, the PPG is a really interesting thing, because you have to think about not just, for me, you're not just thinking about heavy music, you think about music as a whole.
Yeah.
So we're, I'm going, well, I think actually this genre, even though it's not something I would ever listen to, is really important, so we should put them on. And it's quite interesting, because community radio has had a massive influence on the Melbourne music scene.
Yeah.
It's part of all the things, and there's all these little pieces that make up the jigsaw why Melbourne is one of the biggest music cities in the world. It's not just the weather, and that's part of it, but it's community radio, like the huge events that we put on, and then like there's just like this whole lot of stuff going on to keep the scene good.
For metal in particular, I mean, community radio was part of everything that came with the heavy metal community when it started. It's what set the foundation. I got into metal a lot because of my dad, and he was listening to Metal for Melbourne and stuff like that. And all those things connected everybody. It connected them to Metal for Melbourne, the shop. It connected them to all the things that were happening. So it definitely set that foundation for what's there. Yeah,
and also, like, sure, there's occasionally metal being played on either the commercial networks or the national network, but it's not a major part, and it's a very small bit. Whereas PBS has, in heavy shows, it has a very good representation. It's got punk shows, it's got metal shows, it's got hard rock shows, stoner shows, metalcore shows, hardcore shows. Like, they're not, most other, even other community stations don't give it that much representation.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I think part of the beauty of it too is it's not just, hey, these are the big labels and this is what they've put out. You get the underground stuff, you get the little guys, the ones that we see play across, each weekend, the ones that are putting in the hard yards. You can give them that time, you can give them that space and really uplift them. Also,
to be honest, here, if a show is playing too much of the commercial level metal, they get told off, or sometimes even sort of pushed off the air. It's not. We don't. We play music that's hard for people to listen to otherwise. I mean, even today, when you've got all the streaming services, all this stuff, a lot of music that I play on the air is not available yet, or it is hard to find. That's just what we do.
We've also got a lot of bands moving away from streaming services, which means they're either on very limited streaming services or they're only on places like Bandcamp, and otherwise you need it physically. So giving them that additional platform, and you can listen to them on a curated playlist too, I think is really good. But you mentioned like some of the events and stuff that PBS put on, and what sort of opportunities have arisen working with PBS and through your show Burning Bitumen to do sort of events, activities? What sort of cool stuff have you been able to get involved in?
Well, so before I came to PBS, I'd have been involved in a lot of event management and organised some quite big events. So when I come here, I've been given the opportunity to, and I think this upcoming show is my 5th show that I've put on over the 25 years, but also in the 2010s, I helped with one of the other announcers, Chris Pearson, to run Heavy and Hammered, which we did 5 of in that time, which were quite big events. They were, 25 bands sort of plus shows at the Tote, because it's got the 3 stages, but they did quite well. And that was kind of fun because you got to meet all the people in the scene. But the 5 events that I put on have all been really good coverage of bands that either are big, but also ones that became big not long after that. So I've been, pretty proud of the people I chose, because they tend to be bands that I think have got potential to be bigger.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah, but, talking about the stuff I've been involved in, like, I've got to meet 90% of my metal heroes, talk to them. I'm friends now with some of the bands that I was worshipped when I was younger, and it's a little surreal sometimes, but it's I've interviewed people that when I was in my teens, I had their poster on my wall, and all that sort of weird stuff that you never thought would happen. And I know with one of my oldest friends, the sort of early metal friend, we both loved Gwar. When we were in the 80s, we would listen to when Gwar first started coming out, and we'd write into it, and a little metalheads and loving it. I sort of tapped him on the shoulder and said, can you imagine like what the teenage us would have thought about? I've met and talked to the Gwar guys a few times. We're here at this show where we're watching this show live. We never thought they'd come to Australia then. It's really interesting. It's great opportunities.
Nice. Well, on that, so you've interviewed all sorts of people all over the world. You've also had countless guests come into the studio. What have been like your, let's say, best, worst and wildest interviews or in-person guests?
Okay. I think the best one's really hard because also like over time, things, I've interviewed different styles and stuff like that. Of recent years, in the 2020s, the best is easily when I talked to Ted from Dark Throne. I mean, that was a huge thing for me. It was one of the ones on my list that I'd wanted to talk to, and he was really good, and it was a really interesting interview. But, I've talked to people involved in all of the I've talked to 3 out of the top 4 of thrash. I've talked to everybody in the death metal scene from each of the different eras. I've talked to nearly all of the black metal bands that I like.
And those can be some of the harder ones to get sometimes too.
But some of the, best interviews sometimes has just been the ones that, for example, like Circle of Blood a couple of weeks ago. You come in and then they just hung around and we just chatted for the rest of the show, and that was kind of fun. And they were, it was interesting guys, and that's happened many times, and it's why like I am, some of the people in some bigger bands I count as my friends now. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, sometimes that off-air stuff can be really entertaining, or there can be stuff that either it just comes up while you're not chatting on air, or it's not appropriate for on air as well. But those chats can be like the best part while you're listening to the music and enjoying that, or bonding over that can be really nice as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my worst interview is like, there's no competition, was Glenn Danzig.
Yep.
He was like talking to a 12-year-old. It was horrible, and he was on the phone, and I remember in my head when I was doing it was a while ago, but I just kept thinking, yeah, this is why everyone, you hear all these stories about him being punched in the face. Like, this guy was so irritating and aggravating, and if he had been in the same room, I might have done that. And, like, he just didn't, it was just horrible. It was hard to work with, and when I played it, I said, make up your own mind. Admittedly, when I saw him at that stage, so it dates it pretty easily, but I saw him, they played live like a couple of nights after the interview. Yeah, okay. And it was really amazing. Yeah. But
I've heard some stories about him not being the best person, just being a bit of a...
And, I've interviewed some people like Dave Mustaine who people sort of said, oh, he's awful, he's hard to work with. That would be my, favourite interview from that era, so from probably the 2000s. Like, he was amazing. When him got him really well. He was really nice. Yep. He actually went and put me on the door and took someone else off the door and put my name on it.
Amazing.
Like, he was awesome.
Do you know whose spot you took?
No, I don't care. I think it was someone who just hadn't done anything. But, it was like, we talked, it was meant to be a 15-minute interview and we talked for 45.
Yeah, nice.
It was really good. He was great. But everyone thought, he's going to be terrible. I'm like, I'll see what happens.
No, but Danzig is...
Danzig
worst,
is the thing. I think he might be different in face-to-face. I think that adds to it. Like, a lot of people had said, Henry Rollins would be really hard. And when I spoke to him, because I'm in the room, and Henry's a big boy, but I'm a bigger boy. Yeah. And I think he was a bit nicer to me.
You're a tall man.
So it was just two of us in the room, and, he's a little man. So he was great. But he wasn't giving me much attitude, and it's like, because it's me and you in a hotel room, mate. Like, I just want to do the interview. But anyway.
Nice.
Sometimes life's like that.
And wildest?
Oh, look, for me, the wildest interview, I think, on the phone was Belfagor. Yep. More just of what he was saying was so wrong.
Okay.
And he started talking about all this kind of like torture, punishment, and all this sort of stuff, and all this kind of weird stuff. I felt like he was overcompensating because he had been just talking about how he likes, because I asked him what he likes to do outside of metal, and he'd been talking about mountain biking and stuff, and I think he felt like he needed to make it more, and he's sort of talking about stuff from the Marquis de Sade and that sort of stuff, which is kind of, pretty intense. And the way he was talking about it was like, And
I don't look metal enough because I've talked about bike riding, so I better divert and... Yeah, okay.
And the most in-house was this little band. I can't even remember what they are, but I can remember the interview because I asked, and this guy had been nervous because the thing I don't do anymore is tell how many people are listening to the show. Yeah. Because he freaked right out. And then at the end I asked him, like, what was this song about? And he told me this whole story. The song was about how, fighting with his girlfriend, then killing her, then burying her in the forest. Wow. And the way that he said, I went, I think maybe you did that.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
No. And you just don't know what to do because he is saying this is what the song's about. Yeah. But it just had the tone of like, maybe you've done that.
Look, I had an interview I did with a band that depressive, suicidal black metal, It comes with the territory a little bit, where they kind of talked a little bit about some relationship stuff that influenced some of their songs. And at the time I went, yeah, okay, it's rough, but it's not anything bad. I ended up having to pull the whole thing because it turned out the guy was charged for abuse and like kidnapping and all sorts of stuff. And as soon as the news went up, I started getting hate stuff come through to me because people saw me linked to that online, and I had to just pull everything. Yeah. So you never know. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, and
we have no way of knowing when we talk to people, right?
Yeah, just and yeah, it was kind of weird. Just trying to think if there's anything else really wild.
Yep.
I've had plenty of bands like ruck up on the table in front of me while they're doing the interview. Had people come in all stages of drunkenness when I interview people, but that's fine because I know how to deal with people like in that state.
Yeah.
It's probably a whole lot of stuff, and for most other people they would think that's pretty out there, but for me I'm like, oh, well, it is metal. We do talk about some, I mean, a lot of the songs are about some kind of wild things.
It's just some people putting their money where their mouth is.
And some people, most people, like a lot of the death metal bands, for example, are usually sweet dudes because they get their aggression out in the tunes, but there's some people that are just,
definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and I've talked to, people like Necro Butcher from Mayhem and
he's nuts.
A few like kind of already on the edge kind of people.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting, but most of them have been fine.
Yeah, nice.
Which is interesting. I think it just depends on how you treat people.
Being on radio also comes with some challenges. You're live to air, you're dealing with technology, and especially when you're wrangling people and you don't know what they're going to do, it can be very distracting. All sorts of things can happen. Have you ever had any like just crazy mistakes or stuff ups that you've had happen on air? Any blunders?
Yeah, of course, but nothing really too crazy.
Yep.
I think, that's like community radio is pretty loose and relaxed, and I think that helps you. Like, sure, you sometimes make mistakes, but you usually move on.
Yeah.
Like even the other day, I run my playlist out of my laptop, and I'd knocked the music player as well as the DJ player, and the two songs are playing at once, and I just stopped it. Said, yeah, let's sort that out.
Remix.
Went back, so it's fine.
Yep.
I haven't done any too major things. I had one where my old laptop froze, and I was stuck in the studio with it on, and there was no music playing.
Yep.
But I sorted it out by putting on some carts, and I ran and got some backup stuff that I had, which I don't have now, but
I've recently added some backup CDs to my studio bag because I had a full system crash while I was on air, and the only CD in reach to be able to pop on and play while I reset everything was Sister Act soundtrack, so I had to play that.
That's interesting.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I also made the mistake once of trying to do a whole show with like punk and grindcore vinyl.
Yep.
And that was like really, it was fucked.
Yeah, that would have been
because all the songs were like a minute to 30 seconds. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And I just went that works in a digital format, but vinyl is.
I very much admire people who can manage vinyl or CDs or whatever while they're live on air and doing all of that. The guy who does his show before mine basically always uses vinyl. Yeah. We only had the one turntable before. Now we've just gotten a second one in our studio, but I always do digital because I go, there's no way I'll be able to focus. I couldn't. I'd lose track, and then I'd be at the end of the album before I realised.
I don't mind DJing with vinyl, but to be honest, my vinyl collection is my personal collection.
Yeah.
The stuff that I play on air is a lot of promos, a lot of stuff that I get in a lot of promos.
Yeah.
I get a lot of music sent in that format. And so the difference between vinyl on air and digital on air is quite distinct. Yeah. And so if you're doing a show with both, you need to be careful that it doesn't sound too up and down.
Yeah.
And but also, like, you know, when you're playing 90% of the stuff you play is from downloads, it's just like, I just don't find it's worth it for the vinyl. And it's my personal collection, so I don't want to bring it in.
Yep.
I take public transport in. I don't want to take my records on it in a bag. I don't want to get them scratched or fucked up.
Yep.
Which, you know, I used to do back in the day when I did a lot of you know, DJing. It would, you know, you'd wreck your own stuff. It's like, no, I don't want that. Now, when you DJ, you don't even need to bring it. So, you know, that's the technology changes.
That brings me nicely to what I was actually going to ask next, which some people, again, may not know or realise where some of the music comes from for radio, and there's a lot of rules and requirements around what we have to play, standards and stuff, or how we have to obtain our music. And for a lot of stations, you might have certain libraries you can access, but especially when you're doing niche types of shows like heavy metal, your station's not going to have all your music. You have to provide it. So you're getting it either from press releases, from labels, promoters, directly from the bands, or it is all from your own collection. You know, we volunteer our time and efforts, but also money towards the music. Yeah. So I imagine you've probably had a very big and ever-changing collection over the years. What does your physical media and merch collection kind of look like?
Well, I've got over recent times, I've moved a few times. So I had a huge CD collection and I wasn't using a lot of it. So I culled that really hard when I moved. So that's down to now a few hundred CDs rather than it was about 4,000.
Yep. I think a normal person collection is how you described it to me when you were doing your cull.
Yeah, I have a normal person collection. But we're going to get to the not normal. That's coming. And then my vinyl collection isn't probably as big as some people my age. Like, it's, you know, a few thousand, but it's not much more than that. Like, it's, you know, I don't always buy things on vinyl. I only buy stuff on vinyl I really, really like. I don't buy everything on it because I think it could be quite expensive now. And it's just like, well, you know, it's much easier for me on my show if it's digital. So unless it's something that's going to be a real, like, personal thing, which is hard to understand if you don't do this show, but I'm going to get to why. Because the amount of music that I get sent, having been in the show for a long time, having really good relationships with labels all over the world, with a lot of Australian promoters, but I get stuff from little tiny garage labels from every continent, most countries, little labels that no one else, some people don't even know about.
Yep.
And I get upwards of 80 albums a week that are relevant to Burning Bitumen.
Yep.
And I get, you know, maybe 6-7 times as much of or more of albums, but they're the ones that are only relevant to me. And I don't mean just metal, I mean relevant metal.
Yep.
It's so much music, and I have a huge, like, I had to update my laptop to a 2 terabyte laptop so I could put it all on it, because I didn't want to have hard drives because I wanted to take it with me. I'm worried about what will happen when I run out of that space, but I've got thousands and thousands of albums on that. And a lot of my old stuff on CD I've uploaded to that, but some that I just keep because I want to, the ones that I've kept are the ones that I want to replace and probably buy the vinyl. If I can afford it.
What would be some of the favourite things you have in your collection? Like, do you have a holy grail item? Or if you don't have it in your collection, do you have a holy grail item you want in your collection?
Like, I've got a couple of things that mean a lot to me, like and just my copy of Injustice for All on vinyl, I bought when it came out. and I've kept it, and it's in very good condition.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me. Not so much like because of what it meant, the change in who I become.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not a collector because PBS, particularly, nearly everyone else is a collector.
Yeah.
And I love the music. I don't care what format it's in.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't care if it's I prefer, like, if I buy a vinyl, that it's a proper copy, because at least some of the money goes back to the artist.
Yep.
But I don't care whether I'm listening to a digital or a record or a CD, a bit over CDs, or even a cassette, even though I don't have a cassette player. And I don't have a CD player, to be honest, either in my house. I've got a drive to upload stuff, but that's different. But yeah, there's just been so much music that it's really hard to become as attached.
Yep.
Like, I'm happy to have my vinyl collection with me, and there's some records in there that mean a lot to me, but for different reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
To me,
yeah,
I prefer to spend my money on a show because I get more out of it, even though vinyl's great and it's there. It's like, I get so much music, but like tonight we're going to go and see a band. It'll be awesome.
Yep.
We'll have a good time.
Yep.
Right?
I did have a question thrown to me earlier by one of our friends that I am going to ask, and that is about T-shirts. What are some of your best metal T-shirts? And the heavy metal special, what is your most offensive T-shirt?
Okay. Well, of what I currently have...
Yep. Yep.
Like, I did also with the coloured CDs, I gave away a whole huge tub of T-shirts to a friend who was happy, A, because I got fatter, but B, just because I'm like, I've moved into a small place, I'm like, this is what I've got.
Yeah.
Currently, my favourite T-shirt is probably this one, which is Convulse from when they came here. I don't have... I'm not... The oldest T-shirt I have is a Dwarves T-shirt, which has Teach the Children to Worship Satan on the back. But that's not really that old. It's probably 2000s. Mm-hmm. I've thrown out many T-shirts over the years. I cry now with some of the stuff that I did have in the 80s and early 90s that is worth thousands. Yep. Which is still weird to me that it's a T-shirt. It's worth like $2,000. It's just stupid. But, my most offensive T-shirt at the moment is recently a friend of mine printed the Blood Duster T-shirts for the Froth and Fury shows. Yep. And you can look what was on that.
I don't remember what was on it. I'll have to go back and look. I did see them at Froth and Fury in Adelaide.
Yeah, a certain part of his anatomy was ripped off.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, they always like to send someone out on stage in the nude.
But I know the Blood Duster boys pretty well. Yeah, they're all good. It's a good T-shirt. I still haven't worked out where I'm going to wear it yet, but because I catch public transport a lot, so I'm like, it might be a winter thing.
Look, as you mentioned, we've got a show to go and get to soon. So what I might do is round it back out to coming back to your 25-year celebration show, the birthday, Bogan birthday, was it Bonanza?
Yeah, Bogan birthday Bonanza.
Yeah, nice. Tell us all about it.
So it's at the Burgie. Mm-hmm. It's on the 9th of May, which is a good date. It's just before PBS's big radio fest.
Awesome.
Which is kind of nice. It's got 5 bands each band this time I've chosen bands that haven't done previous shows or benefits for my show, except for one, but I'll get to that.
Okay. That's a really good lineup.
And also that I have had, a lot of contact with. They're not just people I've met once and done an interview. These are people that over the years I've had a lot to do with. I'll start with Cazaval, solo project, who's a close friend of mine. And look, I'm going to be honest, he's in another band which I really love, but when he told me he was doing a solo black metal project, I was like, okay, let's just see where this goes. And when he gave it to me, I was blown away. Like, it is really, really good.
It is fantastic.
It's a lot better than anything he does with his other band, even though I like his other band.
Got the representation right there.
Yeah. Like, his other band is great, but this is better. And he's coming, it's a solo black metal project, but he's brought together a whole band so he can play this show.
Yep.
And that's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited about it. And, you know, this is... You should own yourself a copy of this cassette.
Yes.
And then download the digital thing. But, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Have the cassette in your collection.
I'm very excited to see Kazaval live and see what that looks like in a live setting. Because, did a killer job on that EP. Yeah. But, live, it's going to be very interesting.
And I've heard, like, seen some of the stuff that he's working on in the future. Awesome. It's going to be, it'll be cool. It'll be really good. And then next we'll talk Cult of the Night, which the lead singer Brock I've interviewed many times over the years, and I know it's like a super group of Melbourne metal bands. Like it's like lots of dudes from different awesome metal bands, and they play music that sounds like this lost 80s metal tape that you had in like your dad had in his car, if you're younger, or in my case, in my car, that you've just found and go, whoa, what's this? And you put it on, it's like, it sounds like a cassette. It's dirty, it's raw, but it's metal. And Brock, who's, you know, he's an amazing guitarist, but he doesn't play much guitar in this band.
Okay.
But he sings, and it's really good, and it's like surprising, but also not surprising, because he does his own little black metal-y things, but this is like, it's very much first wave black metal, heavy metal sort of cross.
Awesome.
It's cool. It's a cool band.
Nice.
And then we've got Nephilim, who are massive supporters of Burning Bitumen. They call themselves like hardcore satanic boogie. And they're like mad, and they're all been friends forever, and they just play just some of the best sort of hard-hitting, punky, metal-y thing, and they've all got different tastes, and sort of all come in and created something that's just the funnest. And there's a rumour that this might be their last ever show.
No.
So definitely not to be missed. Like, that is sick.
Is it just a rumour?
No.
No? Shit. Okay. I really like them too.
It's a strong rumour.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'll be talking to them on my show this week, which might be before or after this goes up, probably before. But I'm going to try and get a definite on that.
Okay.
And then we've got Carcinoid, who, as I said...
Amazing. One
band that have played a show for me before, but they've doubled up their schedule and they ended up being the opening act.
Yeah, and
I said, well, come back and do a proper, like, co-headlining spot for this. They're an excellent band. They've got, you know, such a good lineup. They've got the new lead singer anyway since that show. They are an amazing band.
Yep. When
they release an album, it's going to be big. And they're just so good. And they just do this dirty, like, doom-tinged death metal that's just... goes right into you when you hear it. Like, it just... If you haven't seen them, you should see them. If you just
so good. They played Death Fest recently, and I saw them the week before that at Flippin' the Bird.
They're a great band.
Yeah, in the hottest room. It was so hot that day. It was just like going into a sauna. Just anyway, but they killed it.
It's a good room. And then the other kind of headliner is Whitehorse, who I've had a long relationship with over the years, like even down in sort of from the 2000s when they first started. I was immediately drawn to them, and I've had them on my show many times. They've released albums that have been recorded on my show. They've been like, I'm a big fan, and they are, if not the heaviest, very close to the heaviest band in Melbourne, and loudest and just intense.
Awesome.
And it's like a kind of noise, sludge, doom, hard to describe thing that's just like, it's so heavy, and
Yeah.
the Burgie has, the reason I wanted to do it in this venue, it has one of the best sound systems in Melbourne, I think.
Yep.
And they're going to destroy people's hearing. Like, it's going to be
amazing,
intense.
So really killer lineup.
Yeah.
And it's being hosted by someone pretty cool too.
Yeah, J-Rock.
Yep.
J-Rock, who has, a pretty good relationship with PBS.
Yep. Yep.
And
yeah, I've seen some of their stuff online with, what's the other... They do some interviews with people.
Yeah, she does a podcast.
I forgot what the name of the podcast
Something
is.
Doom thing.
I'm really sorry.
Edit this in later.
Yeah, I'll do an overdub. Yeah, anyway, I've seen some of the podcast stuff, and she seems really cool. So that'll be really good to have someone hosting that as well.
Yeah, and connection with PBS, it's going to be stronger soon, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yep.
Yeah, and also so we've got 5 or 6 PBS DJs in between, including myself. But we got Rory from Fang It, PBS's biggest show.
Yep.
We've got Chris Pajamas, Ryan, Tyrannosaurus. We've got Robin from No Barriers.
Nice.
And we've got my horror movie compatriot Hoops doing a set as well.
Yep.
And Hoops has actually probably had more DJ experience than just about anyone else.
Yeah,
so it's kind of really interesting.
Awesome.
Because, it was when he lived in Brisbane. So he was a, DJ in Brisbane a lot. But, it's a really good show. The Burgie is a great room.
Yep.
Look, it's going to sell out and it's going to be jam-packed. So it'll just be worth it. And,
I'm so looking forward to this one. I'm super keen.
Yeah, it's a good lineup. It's on a Saturday night.
Yep.
You're not going to have to work the next day. Well, unless you work on a Sunday. But that's weird. And it's going to be, it's 5 solid bands. There's no bands that are there because to fill a spot.
Yeah.
They are all amazing. And it was really hard to work out where to put bands. But it's it was, it's going to be big.
Yeah. So Saturday, 9th of May, where can people get tickets?
If you go to the PBS website, pbsfm.org.au, there's a link to the tickets, but also if you go to the Burgie Band Room website, they've got a link to tickets.
Get in quick.
Pretty easy. And if you're a subscriber, there's a discount. If you're a member to PBS, you can get a discount. And I think we are going to have a pin badge for people that are members on the day.
Nice. VIPs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little pin badges that we're going to make up.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
And maybe, should be good. Should be fun.
So before we finish up, I don't think we even touched on it yet. When is your show? Where can people go to listen to Burning Bitumen, and where can they see what you're up to and what's going on? How do they find you?
Yeah. So the show is of course, on PBS 106.7 FM.
Yep.
And it's on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
You can go listen either to radio if you're in the Melbourne area, or you can listen anywhere in the world at pbsfm.org.au.
Yep.
And that's also where you can go to become a member, which is important because that's what keeps community radio on the air.
Yep.
You can also listen to, there's apps on both Apple and whatever the other stuff is. And you can listen to that, and that's really good because that has an on-demand function, which is the same as the website. If you missed my show, you can go back and listen to it.
Really important because I'm playing this on mine as well, and obviously since the recent changes have come in, Kene's show has moved to the same time slot as mine.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, kind of what's come up throughout this conversation, when it comes to the heavy metal community in particular and just Aussie music in general, it's so symbiotic. We all support each other and we all rely on supporting each other to make sure that we get out the music we love and we promote the bands we love and, all of that sort of stuff. So the important part there as well, playback. We both have playback and on-demand available, so it doesn't matter if you are listening to one of us live, you can still catch the other on playback always. You can still watch or listen to both.
Yeah, you can definitely do that, and the on-demand thing is really good, and the app is very, very good because you can listen to all the shows you want, and you could go back and listen to every show as far as it's on the record, which I don't know how long it is. It's at least 6 months, which is a lot. Yeah. A lot of tunes.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then if you want to get in contact or whatever, firstly, like Facebook, there's a Burning Bitumen page. Instagram, there's a Burning Bitumen page. I'm also on Threads. And also, like, my email is dieyouhippie@yahoo.com.au, and you're not going to forget that. But
nice.
If you're a band and you want to talk to me too, if you want to get an interview, go to the socials and send me a message, and I'll answer as soon as I can. Don't send it to, don't send it to PBS. Come straight to me because I'll sort it out. It's it's the best way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much for joining me for a bit of a chat tonight. It's been really fun.
Thanks, Sarah. It's been fun, and also support Sarah's podcast and show because it's awesome. It's really good. And she puts in a lot of work, so it's good. And we've got an amazing metal community in Melbourne, and really you need to go somewhere else to appreciate how good it is. Yeah,
very much.
Yeah.
I love that. And look, thank you for watching or listening in tonight. I'm your host, Sarah-Tonin, and until next time, stay metal.